The evening was alive with the hum of luxury engines and the crisp scent of wealth. Outside an upscale Los Angeles hotel, valets darted between cars, tossing keys and exchanging hurried nods. The lot was a parade of excess. Lamborghinis, Bentleys, and Porsches gleamed under the golden glow of streetlights. Among the extravagance, a man in a worn black jacket and scuffed boots stepped onto the pavement, his hands tucked into his pockets. Jared, a young valet with a sharp eye for high rollers, barely glanced at him. Just another regular guy, probably an Uber driver or some low-key guest. No tailored suit, no flashy watch, no air of self-importance, certainly not someone worth immediate attention. He barely nodded before turning his focus to a man stepping out of a Ferrari. Minutes passed. The man in the black jacket stood patiently, watching as car after car was whisked away. Guests floated past, some tossing him curious glances, but he remained quiet, as if he belonged yet expected nothing. Finally, Jared turned back, exhaling sharply. "You need something, man?" The man simply smiled, reaching into his pocket and producing a claim ticket. Jared took it without a word and strolled toward the garage. He returned moments later, maneuvering a dusty vintage black motorcycle, a Norton Commando 750. A relic compared to the showroom cars around it. He chuckled to himself. No wonder the guy had been ignored. Sliding off the bike, Jared handed over the keys. "Didn't think you'd fit in with the crowd here." His tone carried the faintest trace of condescension. The man only grinned, slipping a bill into Jared's palm. A crisp 100. Jared blinked, looking up. Before he could speak, the man placed a hand on his shoulder. "You know," he said, his voice smooth, familiar yet impossibly humble. "You should never judge someone by what they drive." It clicked. The voice, the face, the eyes. The moment unraveled in Jared's mind with a force that left him breathless. He had ignored Keanu Reeves. The Keanu Reeves. His stomach dropped. He had brushed off one of Hollywood's most beloved stars like an afterthought. He had dismissed the same man who bought Harleys for his stunt crew, who gave millions to charity, who lived like an ordinary person despite being anything but. I'm so sorry, Mr. Reeves, I didn't—" Keanu shook his head, smiling. "No need for that. Just remember, kindness isn't about who someone is, it's about who you are." With that, he slipped on his helmet and kicked the engine to life. The bike growled, its deep rumble cutting through the murmurs of the crowd that had begun to gather. A few guests whispered, realizing who he was. But Keanu was already easing the throttle, guiding the vintage machine onto the street and disappearing into the night, leaving nothing behind but the weight of his words. Jared stood frozen, the $100 bill crumpled in his grip. In that moment, the gleaming sports cars around him seemed hollow, the wealth felt meaningless. He had learned something no luxury could buy, that respect should never be reserved only for those who appear important. From that day on, Jared greeted every guest the same. No assumptions, no dismissive nods. Because sometimes the most extraordinary people walk among us disguised as regular ones.